Okay, let's just jump right in, because it is not every day a tech giant uh, trips over their own shoelaces quite this spectacularly.
Not at all. I mean, usually when we talk about leaks, it's all very speculative, right?
Exactly. We have to squint at some blurry photo,
Huh.
taken in a dark warehouse somewhere, or maybe there's a single line of code buried in an update.
And you spend half your time just trying to figure out if it's even real.
Yes. But this, what we're looking at today, was not a leak. It was a flood. Garmin basically opened the front door and turned on the neon sign for a product that doesn't officially exist yet.
It's the oops moment of the year so far. Definitely keeps a few marketing VPs awake at night, I'd imagine.
I bet. So Garmin didn't just have a leak, they accidentally listed a completely new product on their own official websites.
And not just one. We're talking the US, Canada, Brazil, Chile, Mexico.
For a brief shining moment, you could actually see the Add to Cart button.
Which is a total nightmare for their web team, but for us, it's an absolute goldmine.
So today, we are diving deep into the device that caused all this chaos. The Garmin CIRQA. And just to get it out of the way, that's CIRQA, but pronounced CIRQA.
Like circa 1990, which is a whole other thing we can get into, what that name suggests.
It is, and the premise here is huge. This is not just another GPS watch. This looks like Garmin's first direct, aggressive attack on the whoop recovery market. It's a screenless smartband.
Yeah, and to guide us through this, we have to give credit where it's due. We're leaning heavily on the forensic work of the 5K runner.
Absolutely, they did the legwork.
They really did. I mean, they didn't just look at the pictures. They dug into FCC filings, radio frequencies, the whole thing. We're also pulling from gadgets and wearables and Android police, but the 5K runner really connected the dots here.
So our mission today is simple. We're going to go beyond the oops, they posted a picture moment. We're going to look at the specs, the spy photos, and the filings to figure out exactly what this thing is, when you can buy it, and why it actually matters.
It's a classic case of the cover-up or the takedown, in this case being just as revealing as the leak itself.
Right, so let's start with that self-leak. Just picture it. It's late January 2026, you're on the Garmin site, and boom, there it is, the CRQA smartband. What did we actually see before they pulled the plug?
Well, beyond the Add to Cart button, we got the basics confirmed right away. The name, obviously, CRQA smartband.
Okay.
We know it comes in two sizes, a small medium and a large extra large, standard stuff. And the colors, black and French gray.
French gray, very classy.
Yeah.
But the 5K runner caught a tiny detail that I think most of us would just scroll right past: the part number.
Yes. This is where you separate the casual observers from the real analysts. The listing showed the part number, 010-0467500.
And to me, that's just a barcode. Why does that string of numbers matter so much?
Because of that prefix, the 010, in the Garmin ecosystem, that 01 start code is the smoking gun. Garmin uses completely different number systems for prototypes, for engineering samples, internal test units. When you see 010 look like that, it means finished good.
So this isn't a concept. It's not something they're still tweaking in a lab somewhere.
Not even close. That number means the hardware is done, the tooling for manufacturing is finished, the packaging is probably printed and sitting there. It means this thing is on a pallet in a distribution center just waiting for the green light.
Wow. Which makes that other detail in the listing so bizarre.
The shipping time.
Yeah, the text on the website said it ships in 4 to 5 months. Why make us wait until May or June if it's already sitting on a pallet?
That is almost certainly a red herring, or more likely just a lazy copy-paste error from a developer.
So we shouldn't trust that date at all.
I wouldn't. Think about it. Why would you put a live product page up, with active support links, by the way, for a device you aren't selling for half a year? That's just not how these rollouts work. The support pages are live. The launch is imminent.
That makes a lot more sense. Okay, so we know it's real. We know it's retail ready. But what is it? This is where the 5K runner went full detective mode. They pulled up FCC filing IPH04378.
Right, and this is where the story gets really fun. The FCC filing is like a device's fingerprint. Even if the company tries to hide the name, the radio frequencies tell you everything.
So walk us through it. How do we know this isn't, say, a new bathroom scale?
It's a process of elimination. So the scale theory. A smart scale is something you stand on. In the FCC testing for this device, the SAR report, that's how much radio frequency the body absorbs, was tested at 0 millimeter separation.
0 millimeters, so touching the skin.
Exactly. And specifically on the extremity hand. You're not holding a scale against your hand, so not a scale.
Okay, that's out. What about a watch? Garmin makes 1 million watches. Why isn't this just a new Vivo Smart or something?
The radio frequencies give that away. Every single modern Garmin watch, from the cheapest to the most expensive, has a GPS receiver. It operates at 5075 millihertz.
And this device?
No GPS frequency listed. None.
Uh-huh. No GPS. That is a massive deal for a Garmin product.
It defines the entire category. If it has no screen, which the photos seem to confirm, and no GPS, it cannot be a standalone running watch. It's a sensor band. It needs your phone for location.
Okay.
But then, the 5K runner found something in the antenna specs that suggests this isn't just some cheap piece of plastic either.
You're talking about the antenna gain. I saw that in the analysis. 2.71 D by eye. What does that even mean? Is that high?
For a device this small, it's unusually high, yeah. And here's why that matters. In a normal plastic tracker, the antenna is just a little strip of copper inside. But the speculation here, and the physics really back this up, is that a gain this high implies the device's casing is actually part of the antenna.
Wait, so the metal body is the antenna?
It's likely, yes, or at least integrated into a metal housing to boost the signal. You see this in premium smartphones, high-end watches. Metal blocks radio waves, so if you want a metal device, you have to engineer the case to be the radio.
That says a lot about the price point and who they're targeting, doesn't it?
It really does. This suggests a premium luxury finish. I mean, if you're going after Whoop, you can't just compete on data, you have to compete on style. Whoop has made their strap a fashion accessory. If Garmin is using metal, they're aiming for jewelry.
Something that looks good next to a nice mechanical watch or bracelet.
Exactly.
And there was a note about size in there too, wasn't there, from the antenna placement?
Correct. The placement suggests the device is longer than 50 millimeters. A Whoop sensor is about 44 millimeters, for context.
So it's a bit bigger.
A little bit longer, yeah, not necessarily bulkier. And in wearable engineering, that extra space usually goes to one thing.
Battery
life. A bigger battery than Whoop would be a huge selling point.
Oh, absolutely. Whoop users are charging every, 3 or 4 days? If Garmin can push that to a week, maybe even 10 days.
That's a massive competitive advantage. It solves that, that range anxiety for your body.
Okay, so we have the filing, we have the self-leak, we have the metal case theory, but we also have the internet stalkers. I say that lovingly.
You're talking about the people watching DC Rainmaker.
Yes. DC Rainmaker. The man's a legend. And apparently, you can't post an Instagram story without someone zooming in 500% on your arm.
It's a hazard of the job, I guess. So the 5K runner analyzed a story where DC Rainmaker posted a photo captioned, "testing all the things."
And all the things meant wearing 3 different bands on his arms at once.
Pretty much. He was in a tri-suit, so his arms were bare. And you could clearly see one was a Whoop, you can tell by the clasp. Another was probably the Amazfit Helio. But the third one,
a mystery guest.
The mystery guest, an unidentified optical heart rate band, didn't look like a Polar, didn't look like a Scotch. It was sleek, dark, looked like it might be metal.
And given the timing of the Garmin leak,
the timing makes it almost certainly the CIRQA.
And this brings us back to the release date, doesn't it? Because he gets these units early.
Exactly. He'll typically get gear about 2 weeks before launch. He needs time for those huge, detailed reviews he's famous for. So if he has it on his arm in late January, that 4 to 5 month shipping text is definitely wrong.
So what's the prediction? Mid-February.
That's the bet. The 5K runner is pointing to maybe the 11th or the 18th. The timing just aligns perfectly.
Wow. So by the time you're hearing this, it might already be out. Okay, let's pivot to the why. Why does Garmin even need this? And what is with that name? CIRQA.
The name is... it's a choice. The 5K runner has a good theory that it's an acronym, or maybe a portmanteau.
Break it down for me.
So CIR could stand for circadian, or circuit, Q for quantified, and A for analytics, or maybe always on.
Circadian quantified analytics. Okay, that's a mouthful, but it makes sense.
It does, and that circadian part is key. This thing is designed for that 2-4-7 loop. Sleep, wake, recover. It's for the times you don't want to wear a giant Phoenix, like when you're sleeping or at a formal event.
Or if you just love mechanical watches. I know so many people who want the health data, but they want to wear their Omega to the office.
That's it exactly. This is for them. It's the mullet strategy of wearables business on one wrist, party in the app from the data on your other wrist.
And we've seen Garmin laying the groundwork for this in their software, right?
We have.
Yeah.
This is where you see the ecosystem clues. Garmin just rolled out lifestyle tagging in their app. It lets you log things like had an argument or drank alcohol.
Things your watch can't just know on its own. It knows my heart rate is up, but not why.
Precisely. And they also added food logging. These are core features you need for a screenless tracker. If you can't tap on a screen, you need a really good app to log the context of your day. They were paving the road for CIRQA.
Building the nest before the bird arrived.
You got it. And it addresses that big gap in screenless trackers context.
Okay, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Money. The subscription. Whoop is famous for it, or infamous. You rent the service. Is Garmin going to do that?
That is the million-dollar question. And both gadgets and wearables and the 5K runner agree on this. It is very unlikely that Garmin will require a subscription for the device itself to just work.
Thank goodness. The forums would absolutely explode.
They would, but there's a but. Garmin recently introduced Garmin Connect Plus D, which is a paid tier. So it's possible that the band and the basic data are free, but the deeper insights, the AI coaching, that might be behind the paywall.
So you get your data, but if you want the app to tell you what to do with the data, you might have to pay extra.
That seems to be the model. But crucially, it probably won't be a brick on your wrist if you stop paying, which is the big complaint about Whoop.
Right. That is a massive difference. Okay, before we wrap, I want to take a quick detour into something the 5K runner mentioned that just made me laugh.
The too many wearables experiment.
Yes. In the name of science, he talks about wearing 5 optical heart rate bands on one arm. 5. Can you imagine the tan lines?
That is true dedication, but it brings up a real technical point about optical interference.
Because they all work by shining green light into your skin.
Exactly. It's called PPG. And if you stack those sensors too close together, say closer than 5 centimeters, the light from one sensor can literally travel through your skin and get picked up by the sensor next to it.
Call that crosstalk.
Yep. It's like two people trying to talk on the same walkie-talkie channel. The data gets all messed up. It's a good reminder for anyone testing these things, or even just wearing 2 devices, you have to keep them separated.
So don't wear your CIQA, your Whoop, and your Apple Watch all jammed together. Noted.
Unless you want a heart rate graph that looks like a seismograph during an earthquake.
Okay, let's bring it all home. What's the big takeaway here? We have the CIRQA. It's real, it's finished, it's likely metal, screenless, and coming very, very soon.
And it fills a specific gap. This is for the person who loves the data, the body battery, the sleep score, but hates wearing a big sports watch all the time.
It just removes the friction of being in the Garmin ecosystem.
Exactly. You wear your Forerunner for the run, then you switch to the CIRQA for the rest of the day and night. It's seamless.
And it really, really challenges the market.
It challenges the economics of the whole market. I mean, Whoop has had this space mostly to themselves. If Garmin comes in with a device that does 90% of what Whoop does, with a better battery, a premium build, and this is the Kino mandatory monthly fee.
That is a very dangerous product for Whoop.
It forces the question, right? Is the subscription model for recovery wearables even sustainable if a giant like Garmin decides to just undercut it completely?
That is the battle to watch in 2026. SaaS for your wrist versus hardware as a service.
It's going to be a fascinating year.
Well, keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah.
If DC Rainmaker has one, those reviews are probably already written. So keep checking the 5K runner for the inevitable breakdown.
It's going to be an interesting February.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive into the accidental reveal of the Garmin CIRQA. We'll catch you on the next one.